Imagine you're running a supermarket. Every morning, fresh fruits arrive at your stores. But at the end of the week, part of that inventory, well, it end up in trash. Not because customers didn't want it, not because it wasn't safe to eat, but because simply it didn't stay fresh long enough. Now imagine this happening across thousands of stores every single day. Suddenly, you are not alone, and neither you're losing some fruits, you're losing millions of dollars. And that's exactly the problem Apeel scientists decided to solve. Not with better refrigerators, not with faster trucks, but with the invisible coating applied directly to fruit. A coating that attracted hundreds of millions of dollars in investment and sparked one of the most unusual debates in the food industry. The main question is, can an invisible layer really solve the billion-dollar problem?
Food wastage is a global issue, and every country is guilty of it. Roughly a third of the world's food is wasted. That's 1.3 billion tons every single year. Now, this food wastage happens in two stages. One, during production. In developing nations, this is a huge cause of food wastage. 40% of losses occur at post harvest and processing levels. Then comes the loss at the retail sector. Nearly 35% of food is simply thrown out by supermarkets, shops, and households.
To understand this, we first need to understand how food waste and how much roughly we are losing every year. Almost one third of the totally global produced food is wasted, from farmers to retailers to distributors, from transporting. Everybody has been losing a lot of opportunity. Yet the huge portion of that value disappeared just because we are running against time. This is not even just an environmental issue. This is also a business problem because every spoiled food represents wasted resources, wasted effort, and wasted money. The moment food is harvested, the clock starts ticking. Either it loses water or reacts with oxygen and slowly moves towards spoilage. That means every farmer, distributor, and retailer are fighting the same battle. Not against competitor, but against time. And no doubt, time usually wins. And that's where Apeel enters the story. Back in 2012, material scientist James Rogers asked a simple question. What if nature had already solved the problem of food preservation? Think about it. A orange has a peel that protects it. An avocado, its keeps protected. Nature has saved millions of years creating barriers to help food survive longer. So instead of inventing something completely new, Rogers borrowed the idea from nature, and the result was Apeel, a plant-based coating that creates an additional protective layer around the produce. The science behind it is surprisingly simple. Fruit spoils mainly because of either it loses water or reacts with oxygen. Apple slows both the processes down. Less water escapes and less oxygen enters, and thus the fruits stay fresh longer. And while that sounds like a small improvement, in the global supply chain, extra few days can impact a lot.
They start with organic material like these frozen grape skins. They then extract certain food molecules and mix them up in different combinations. The powder, called Apeel, is mixed with water and sprayed on fresh produce.
And thus, this is where Apple becomes really interesting. Most people think that Apple is just selling coating. But the truth is, it sells shelf life. And shelf life is one of the most valuable assets in the food industry. Because every extra day, if a fruit remains fresh, creates value for someone. A farmer can reach more markets, distributors can reduce losses, retailers can waste less inventory, consumers get more time before the food spoils. The coating may be invisible, but the economic incentive behind it is not. And that's why investors paid attention. Because Apple wasn't just solving a food problem, it was solving the entire supply chain problem. A supply chain problem that worth billions. The company quickly attracted major investors and became one of the talked about brands and technology food tech startups in the world. But then the challenges came. As an Apple coated product entered the stores, questions started spreading online. What is the coating? Can consumers remove it? Why didn't more people know about it? And who were the major investors back in? very quickly discussion shifted from food preservation to trust. And that reveals something very important in the startup ecosystem. Building a product is only half the challenge. Convincing people to trust that the product is the other half. And sometimes the second challenge is much harder. This is what makes Apeel such an interesting business case. A company trying to solve one of the biggest inefficiencies of the global food supply chain, its real product isn't coating. The real product was time. More time for farmers, more time for retailers, more time for consumers, and less waste through the system. But Apple's story also teaches us something bigger. Innovation alone cannot do enough. A company can have great technology, massive market, a compelling business model. Yet, success ultimately depends on trust because consumers don't evaluate products, they evaluate transparency. And that's the challenge Apple continues to face today. So, what do you think? Would you be comfortable buying product coated with technology like Apple if it meant longer shelf life? Or do you believe in consumer deserves greater transparency before such innovations? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, thank you.